Hey everyone, it's Clay Lehman with Resolute Property Management. The reason that I wanted to make this video is I'm a real estate investor just like you, and I understand how scary this time is for all of us. There's no telling where the market is headed. Every day brings a different type of news, not much of it very good. And, it's just in general a scary time for us that hold residential real estate. Well, the purpose of this video is to offer some advice on how best to be prepared for the unknown that's coming. Again, I don't have a crystal ball. This isn't legal advice. This is just me sitting down this morning thinking through what options are available to us as real estate investors. How do we get this in front of as many people as possible? So the first thing that I want to talk about is the possibility of obtaining a loan modification from your mortgage servicer. So there's been a ton of information in the news that the government would be offering certain opportunities to modify or not pay your mortgage. Well, a key distinction there is who's eligible for that. A lot of the news has been around HUD, FHA, and VA products, which aren't typically products utilized by real estate investors. Well, I have found out that Fannie and Freddie are instructing their servicers to work with investors that hold properties. I'm not offering any guarantees. I don't know, how they're going to look at each individual situation. But what I would do if in the coming months I was worried that missing one or two rent payments was going to leave me extremely strapped, I would call my mortgage servicer to ask them if I had an opportunity to modify my loan. The modification options they may offer you might include a forbearance. A forbearance is a limited period of time during which you don't have to make your payments, but typically those payments are added to the end of the loan. At certain times, they'll offer rate reductions. I don't feel like this is super likely because mortgage rates have been increasing. I know that's not necessarily intuitive, but it makes sense if you understand the mortgage market. It's a whole nother interesting conversation that we could have. Another more likely scenario is they also might offer to extend the remaining period of time on your loan. So like effectively flattening your payments, but extending them out. I want to be really clear here. I wouldn't utilize this option of asking for a loan modification unless I really needed it. The reason I say that is because, the banks are like anybody else. They're not typically just giving this to you. They are being encouraged by the government to do this. I'm not saying it's unfair or anything of that nature, but this will likely come with some potential downside, just meaning, if your goal is to pay your loan off so you can increase your cash flow, well, extending the life of the loan isn't the greatest thing for you. Or like, for example, if you have a great rate now and your modification is going to include, a refinance to a higher rate, that may not be favorable for you. It may be worth it if you need that cash or you need to reduce your payment or you need to put off payments, but just make sure that that's the case. The next thing, is just solid common sense advice. Hold on to some cash or build up some cash reserves. Now, I'm not saying that, put it all in a coffee can and bury it in the backyard. But, if I'm a person that has some cash and I'm debating whether I should put it in the market or hold on to it, I would at least just make sure that I had enough to cover me for a few months in case my tenant is not able to make their payments or in case I have an extended time of vacancy. If you do not have cash reserves currently, I would certainly make every opportunity to kind of build those up. For example, there's been a lot of talk that the federal government may issue assistance checks to each adult and child. I don't know where that stands as of now, but if that came and I had the opportunity to put it somewhere, I might put it in the bank as a rainy day fund. And then finally, and I've said this on some other videos, so I apologize if I'm repeating myself, but just be open to working with your tenant. This is going to be a really hard time for all of us, whether you work with a property manager or manage your properties yourself. We are all in the same boat. That includes our tenants. Our tenants are going to be in a position, and again, this isn't all, this is some, some of them will be in a position where they either can't make the full payment or can't make the payment at all. If you can work out a payment plan with your tenant, I'd say you're way ahead of the game. This isn't necessarily the time to be trying to turn over a property and put a new tenant in. So, I'd very much encourage you to work with your tenants. Those are the main points that I could think of. I'll be happy to post more or provide more as they come available. Feel free to reach out if you'd like to discuss further. If you have any questions, I've been in the residential real estate business for a very long time in a number of capacities that include working with mortgage servicers. So while I'm no expert, I definitely have insights that you may find helpful. So thank you so much for watching the video. Again, my name is Clay Lehman. I'm with Resolute Property Management, and I hope that you are well and you are safe. Thank you.